At
I'm gonna
like,
start. We're recording. Please go ahead.
okay. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the Tuesday, September 26th meeting of the Feedback Subcommittee of the Charter Review Committee. How are we doing on minutes? I'm not, yeah,
I submitted mine at long last.
okay.
I have a copy sitting on my desktop here if I need to.
I think I'm going to make that a goal for next time, that we'll try to approve whatever minutes we haven't approved yet, and I'll find out what we don't have, because I've lost track of that a little bit. But can we get who took minutes last time? Is that Ken?
I don't think it was me. I mean,
I think it was me, actually.
Was it you, Marcus?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
So, does anybody have a sense of what the order is? Is it my turn?
It's alphabetical by last name, so yeah, it would be your turn next.
Okay, so I'll get the transcript and I'll do the minutes for this one.
I think you just talked yourself into it, really. But,
I know, really. Talk about public comment. Do we have anybody attending from the public?
Nope.
Okay. Any previous minutes, I'm going to just defer that because I haven't read them and I don't know what the status is. So I'll send out a note to find out who owes them, and we'll try to get them all ready for next time. So I sent out an Excel spreadsheet with a few tabs on it last night, and I think that's sort of the task of this meeting, if that makes sense, to sort of look at the results. We've got everybody's votes in there now. I think there's a couple of anomalies that we can call to the attention, or we can talk to Julian to see if they need to be right. There's a couple that have 7 votes and a couple that have 9 votes, but other than that, I'm sure everything's fine. But I think, you know,
it depends on whether or not we agree with the votes.
Right, exactly. So we can review the results. We can talk about, you know, a format that I've thrown together and that shows both sort of the ones that we flagged, and we'll have to figure out why we flagged some of them. There's a variety of reasons, and then also sort of how do we decide which ones we're moving forward with, which one, you know, and what's the list we send to the Collins Center, I guess, is the next step for them to be going through our list and giving us some input on, you know, anything we should know about those items. I assume, like, whether they are legal, whether they would require more than the council voting, etc. I'm gonna take this off of sharing. So I thought I'd share that document. We can talk about it a little bit. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna. I said to my, I'm having a bad computer. I'm having a bad computer week, so I was going to print this out.
Yeah.
And have a hard copy in front of me, and then when I went to print it, it came up to like 154 pages.
Yeah. That's very possible. So, all right. So this is the scorecard that I think Julian sent us. And
I wasn't quite sure if he had included my votes too.
It looks like he did, because there's 8 votes.
Okay, good.
For pretty much everything. So yeah, this is just the one that he sent in. I mean, there was another tab that had Marcus's votes, but I think
that was me. Yeah, I just did that so it didn't get confusing. So.
Yeah, that's great. But he had apparently taken that and put it into the
awesome.
So then I took that and I sort of put X's, add another column for things that were flagged, and so wherever there's an X here in this in this column, it looks like there's flags, or there was an asterisk or something, which I assume was sort of a flag before we got the system down. But so there's another tab that then takes this and just pulls out everything that's not flagged. So there's quite a few of these. But I think we might want to go through, and I don't really think it's our task. I think it's the task of the full committee. But, you know, we had several reasons for flagging. One was it's important but not charter level. 2 was it needs more discussion. 3, it needs clarification from Collins or from legal. And then I'm sure there were other reasons that people.
Well, yeah, one of the big ones was just like, we know it's something we're not going to get, it just needs some rubric around it in general. Like, we're not going to do something about this particular thing potentially, but there needs to be clarification on it, or it just needs to be a better explanation of what's going on, that sort of thing.
Meaning the suggestion itself is not clear, or
no, there were
we
grouped. I think there was, seemed to be a few themes in here, like well, it's secrecy or some things that
transparency.
Yeah, it's not really.
Yeah, I guess there's a you could broadly label it as council behavior.
Yes. Yeah.
But one of the council, there are several things that emerged about the council's behavior that you're not going to change by changing the charter. And the things that have to be worked on, and a lot of those involved communication with the public or interacting with the public, with constituents. So that's a whole. I think where those things are. Those items that are flagged that aren't green go off for further discussion. I think the stuff that's in green.
Yeah, I'm on the other tab, the one that's just the flagged ones, but
yeah.
We'll get to the green and red one in a sec.
Okay, because I've got the green and red version up on my screen here.
Okay, yeah. I'm sharing. Do you see the one I'm sharing? I think is the flagged one. Are you seeing that one?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you got both of them. Okay.
I can just.
Yeah. So this is. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just typing sort of a note in the upper corner, the sort of the various reasons that we might have flagged it, and I think at some point we need to. I mean, fairly soon we need to figure out, there were some of these that we needed more discussion, or we need, we couldn't really decide, but we figured that we didn't have time to really have a good vote, so we wanted to discuss more deeply. But then there were those things that this as a theme that seemed to come up, an issue that to raise that seemed to be important to highlight, even though if it's not charter related and so on. So that's over here. I'm just sort of orienting you to it at this point. And then there's the red and green one. Mm-hmm. And this, I was just trying to figure out, how do we move forward on some of these things? And so what I've done here, and I think we should discuss it, is I looked for anything. We had like 1 was a high priority, 2 was okay, but lower priority, and 3 was no, right? I mean, wasn't that sort of the way we're thinking about it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure whether we should just say anything that's 1 or 2 is a yes, and anything that's 3 is a no. But for a starting point, I just said anything that got at least 5 1s was, or only 1 3, seemed like a fairly definite yes. And a number of them had, 2s as well. But that's what I was looking at. And then red was at least 5 3s. So that's how it's coded currently. And we could decide if we want to do it differently. We could say we want anything that's, a 1s and 2s that add up to 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever. I was just trying to sort of. It seemed like if only one person was saying this is a 3, and it wasn't otherwise flagged, then it seemed like that was a go. But I don't, So I don't. I guess that's the topic to say. Do we want to propose some sort of rubric for saying I mean, if it's close, if it's 4 to 4, on yeses and nos, then I think we need to discuss it more, or even if it's 5 to 3, maybe. But I don't know. I don't know what to do with the 1s and the 2s.
Well, do we want to do an average rating?
I tried that, but
too disparate.
some of them are, if there's an abstention and you end up with only,
Yeah.
only 3 1s and
Mhm.
2 2s, then the 3s can outnumber a greater number of 1s. I started with that, and then I was like gonna try to total it, and finally I was like, you know what, just the number. It for a number of reasons, it didn't feel like it was accurately representing.
Mhm.
Didn't Julian, I mean, Julian said it, and I'm not saying he owns this, but because nobody, I don't think, responded to it, but didn't he say that an abstention would be essentially counted as a no, as a 3? Did anybody remember that?
I think there was some
There was some
question about
discussion
that.
about that early on. I
And there
was
was
the one.
also a question in the charter, right?
Well, I was the one who said that in Robert's rules, an abstention doesn't count as a no vote. It counts as someone who is present.
Okay.
So if you need a majority of those present in voting, that's one thing, and that's typically how the majorities go. So if you get 7 people and one is abstaining, you need 4 votes to gain a majority. Still,
So it's a majority of all the people who are present.
yes, right. I thought the scoring system you came up with was pretty fair, and
It's undercounting the in some ways it's like the 2s are not really adequately factored
Yeah,
in.
I was
but
wondering
don't know
if
that
we
it makes
make it a
that.
different, a majority to, we have two classes of yes, right? Absolutely and maybe.
Yeah.
And so I think something with the majority, that would get into your one category would be, something that's mostly ones was going to be an absolute, and then another, is a sort of a maybe.
Yeah.
mhm.
And then
Well,
even
that's what it just skimming this. That's what it sort of looks like
yeah.
when something.
Well,
If there
I'm
were-
thinking like line 19, right? That would be more of a
Mhm.
maybe than an absolute.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But then everything else is kind of an absolute, yeah.
but again, the only one person said no.
No, but I mean, 5 people said maybe,
Yeah.
in the 2s,
Right.
right? So we're not reflecting the difference we had kind of when we were thinking 1 and 2.
Right.
That's my thought, right? We were like, well, maybe we'll put it in, but let's kind of think about it. Versus right now, it's either green or red, so everything green's in. So,
But I thought that 2 was like, yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's not as high a priority for me.
well, absolutely. So that's why I don't think that it's, right now everything green goes in.
Yeah.
But if it's not a high priority, do we juggle a few things around? Or are we just putting everything in that we said, well, yeah, sure, but it's not a high priority. So yeah, I mean,
if you have a survey and somebody says, very much approve or partially approve, those get lumped together as approve, right?
yeah.
And similarly with, disapprove and strongly disapprove and somewhat disapprove. But I mean, I guess the on that number 19, the catcher was only one person said no.
Yeah, absolutely right. So
Even
is
though
there.
it's somewhat like, yeah, only 2 people said definitely, but the rest said sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm thinking about it more. We're not really, there aren't a maximum number of changes we can make, right? We can make 1 million changes. So a 1
But I
and a
mean, we
2
do,
really
yeah.
is go for it. So yeah.
But I mean,
Ignore me.
No, but on the other hand, we don't want to hand them with a laundry list that's ridiculous. But when I look at this, it's like 7 out of 8 of us thought it was probably worth doing.
Yeah.
Mhm. When I look, if you scroll down through the number of items that are in green is actually a fairly reasonable list in terms of length, and they do tend to be ordered about. They do tend to be matters that would could be handled by the charter, would be appropriate for the charter. So really, what we have is we've got the greens, and then we have the flags, which people are going to want to talk about. Some of those flags are red, but we have the greens and we have whites, and I'm not sure what we're going to do with the pale ones here.
Yeah, the whites are the ones that are sort of closer.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, my suggestion, and I'm not going to be there on Thursday.
I don't know.
My suggestion would be that we compile the list of all the ones that people have indicated they really have an interest in, all the ones in green. Set aside all the ones in red, except where they were flagged,
Mhm.
and then make some decisions about the ones that
In white,
haven't been- in white that haven't been
Yeah.
tagged.
No, that sounds good to me. And what time is that meeting on Thursday?
Uh,
Because I might not be able to make it either. Oh well.
see.
It's at 6.
6. Thank you. And yeah, that means I'll miss the first half hour.
I'm not good on numbers, so I may just caveat myself before I even say what I suggest, because I'm not sure if the numbers work, but I guess I'm sensing that we want to whites and green, but we want to get a sense of like what's and sort of, so to speak, in light green. Would a cumulative score for each of these suggestions, like basically like the lower the score, the more important it is. Does that make any sense? I mean, it ends up becoming kind of arbitrary because we're saying if something got a score of 8 and we say 8 is really important, but 9 is not, then it's sort of like we're making an arbitrary guess as to any given comment. Does that make any sense to try to like not weed out, but I guess rank some of these white lines right now?
I tried that at first, and I basically made another 3 columns over here, and said, okay, multiply the number of 1 votes by 1, multiply the number of 2 votes by 2, and multiply the number of 3 votes by 3. But then I ran into some of them where there's like in 122 here, there's 3 votes and 5 abstaining, so I don't know what to do with that. And if you had and the 2s, it wasn't satisfying. Yeah. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I tried an average and I tried a total, and it didn't end up giving as much clarity as, look, there's 5 of us who voted for this, or there's 7, or only 1 of us voted against it. It seemed cleaner that way.
Mm-hmm.
But that was what I tried to do at first, and I was like, why isn't this satisfying? And I think it's because right at the beginning there were some things like I'm trying to think of what it was. I mean, develop a preamble, we ended up with 1 + 4 + 9, and then you have 2. I don't know what to do with those. So these 3 don't add up to, they add up to lower because there's 2 extensions. And then this one might be higher, even, or the number 10 might be higher just because there's 8 of us voting instead of 6 of us voting. You know what I mean? Which would mean that it's less positive, even though 7 of us voted for it and 1 voted against. So it got tricky that way.
Yeah, I understand.
So I think this is clean enough that people can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just people might argue about it because they might want to factor in the 2s, and we could do that. I'm just not sure it's going to end up that much differently. We could try it a different way, but if you take line 9, right now it's in there because only 1 person voted
Said no,
three.
yeah, yeah.
But you could also say 7 people voted 1 and 2. Similarly, 7 people voted 1 and 2 in 10, but that's a much more supportive vote because 5 of them were strongly supportive.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I guess when we go through it, we would just go through the greens and write in the table that we're putting in, and we can always say, meh, just how important was it that we put it in, and if people are kind of backing out of it, then
oh, you mean as far as we say so this looks like it would be in. Are we still good with that? And then if people want to change their votes, you mean?
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
actually, yeah. I mean, it would be nice to be able to sort of say we like this methodology. Okay,
Mhm.
let's talk about the ones in white because those are the ones where one vote here or there could change things. I think
Mhm.
in a way. Although, I mean, return to the town meeting form of government or alternatively adopt a council or mayor form of government. Actually, I don't know why that's not green other than it's flagged.
That's why that's not red.
I mean, why it's not red? Because it had,
That was the fact that we needed to explain that we couldn't do it.
it's flagged, but it's a red.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is, it was like it's beyond the capabilities of what we're doing or something.
Right.
But it is the comment. What time was? It's a strong. We've heard it multiple times.
Yeah.
It needs to be, and I wouldn't say put to bed, but maybe better explained. Yeah.
Or just it's one of the things that came up that there's a
Mm-hmm.
particularly there was a lot of people who wanted a mayor,
Right.
but we didn't really, it's not something we can. I mean,
It's not something we keep dancing around that. It's not something we can recommend.
Yeah.
We can say in a report if you want a mayor, form another, council, but committee. But that I think that should be read. I mean, what you have is basically the ones in green are the ones that there's a consensus that they should go forward.
Or there's
Not
a yeah,
everybody,
there's a yeah.
not everybody will agree, but it's just basically most of the committee believes that these are matters that should go forward. The red stuff should go out, except for if there's a flag, and then we have the flag list.
Yeah.
That's the second list, and then the remaining is what the handful of whites.
I mean, like
Should
number
get
34 here. This is 2 strongly support, 2 somewhat support, and 4 are against. So we're basically tied.
Mhm.
So what do we do with that?
I think that's where we talk. How we want to proceed. Right.
And I mean, if somebody wanted to change their vote, then, or we just sort of say, yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, I think that's where we could productively have some conversation. So I mean, are people somewhat comfortable? I mean, Ken, you were like seeking like maybe I'm not sure if you're feeling like this isn't good enough or if this could be better or if we should be trying for something else or
No, it was like the green. I mean, your rubric around the reds and the greens are great. There's just all this white left,
yeah.
and maybe I'm just a little anxious about doing another round of going through each of them again,
Mm.
and just like how much time it's going to eat up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like how can the rubric solve the white, not solve it, but bring it under the rubric somehow, because I think that's what we want to. I'm guessing that's what we want to propose to the full committee is a rubric, not to make any choices like you said earlier. We're not going to run through it and make those decisions, but the full committee needs to. But it's hard. I'm not sure that we've come to, unless, and then totally correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've really addressed the white part just yet, because there's so many possibilities, like you said, of one vote for and 5 abstentions or 5 whatever, and it plus all the other permutations of how you could come to a particular score, a cumulative score. But no, I'm totally fine with how you came to the reds and the greens. It's just everything else.
I would, looking at the areas in white again, I would advocate that if, now let's look at this one here, 111, planning board, zoning board of appeals, and voting. Resident members should be elected by residents, not appointed by the town council. We have 3 no's and 5 abstains. That should go out. I think, I mean, the same thing with the one below it, provided the planning board and zoning board of appeals are elected bodies. That should go out. 114, add a provision for a citizen oversight board. No, that's arguable. But there's another mayor one up here on 104. I mean, that should go up. It's clearly nobody was interested in it. You have 3 people who say we abstain. We don't even want to talk about it. And or we want to explain to people why we can't make that recommendation.
Yeah, I think that's interesting that a lot of the white ones are the ones that are flagged.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it may
But,
be
yeah.
maybe that they're flagged because we just want to mention that was something that people like. Enhanced transparency, number 122. There were 3 no's and 5 flags.
Yeah.
So nobody said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And presumably this is because the theme of transparency was something that people kept feeling was coming up. So maybe we could look through those and sort of say, how much time? Yeah, we got a little bit of time. We could go through some of these and say, which ones of these look like they're out, but we want to discuss them, and which ones are things that we really need to argue over, like the one about the lame duck period. That one, it sounded like everybody was sort of like, we need to understand this better and what the implications are.
Well, that was again, I think I was the one that raised the question about that, and I didn't go back and reread the statute, but the budget's supposed to be submitted within a certain amount of days from when the council is seated. So if you seat the council at a different time, you change the budget process. You change the timelines of the budget process.
And I think that's why.
But can you change the timeline of the budget process to account for that?
You'd have to change the timeline of the budget process, and that might not work.
I think that's why we flagged that one, because it became complicated. I think that's one that actually we need to sort of say, if we did this, what would the budget process look like or need to look like?
Is there a maximum length of time for the budget process then? So like if they moved it moved the seating forward and just kept the current process as is, but would that give councillors more time to, or people more time to mess around with the budget and stuff? Or is it just
I think it's not so much the giving the councilors more time. I think it's a question of how does it work in terms of preparing the budget? Does it change anything in terms of what data is available when we get reports from the state and all that? The other thing is that we have to be conscious that we're part of a region. And the towns operate as towns. They march along on their own time frames. And then the regional school committee and the local school committee have a reporting schedule, a budget schedule that's driven by the department, by DESE, not by the same people that drive ours, or the same statutes that drive ours. So trying to sync that up
is problematic.
Problematic.
I'm trying to think, if we just seat the new council in end of November instead of January, and we leave the budget period the same, the budget process the same, can't they just be doing other stuff until the budget comes around?
Well, that's a question. I don't have an answer for that. I'm not necessarily opposed to changing the lame duck period.
Yeah.
My concern is before we change it, recommend changing it, let's figure out what it might do to the budget.
Yeah, so this is one that I
Process.
think we all flagged it because we're like, we don't know what the implications of this are,
Mhm.
as opposed to we should mention transparency, which, but
Yeah,
nobody,
right, exactly. No,
but
no,
it's
this
not
was,
something we can vote for.
yeah, this is more of a Collins KP bigger process type
Or
question.
talk to Paul Bockelman or
Yeah.
Sean if whenever he comes on board to say, if we seated the new council in November, at the end of November instead of the beginning of January, does that necessarily affect the budget process or not? I mean, it might be that it's just you've got new people there or whatever, but or you got people there earlier, but they, but they're just waiting around for the budget to happen. They're doing other stuff. I don't know how I don't know that it's necessarily linked to when the new council comes on board, but I'm curious. That I recognize that one's a meaty one. But maybe if we look through some of these white ones, let's see. The number 7, this section should be, this is changing an encouragement of cooperation with other jurisdictions to a mandate whenever there's a reasonable possibility. And so we had three ones, 1 2, 2 3s, and 2 abstentions. So theoretically, the yeses would pass, I guess, if the abstentions don't count. But you basically have 4 of us who were in favor of it, and 4 of us who.
Well, you didn't get 5 people who.
We didn't get 5, so yeah.
We instead of want to do this. The other thing, I think there was some pretty compelling discussion around how enforceable this is and how reasonable this is.
Yeah.
It's a matter of good practice to see where you can collaborate with others.
But I mean, this might be something that we need to discuss as a full committee and have the abstaining people say, am I more of a yes or more of a no?
Right.
And then if they're no's, then we're tied, and if we're tied, it fails, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it, I mean, in the end, we might be like, how many, how long is our list, and do we want to cut any of these off? But that's one example where you got 2 abstentions that could clarify, either they go in the yes or the no column. And then I guess the other question is a 5-3 vote enough, or do we want to be looking for 6-2s or 7-1s or?
Yeah, I would at this point a simple majority is fine.
That's fine by
I
me.
think if you get down to there's no reason that I know of to have supermajority votes on this stuff.
Yeah.
It's not required, so.
Yeah, it's not required.
But it's just in terms of putting things in as well as leaving them out, But
so in looking at this, clarifying the definition of emergency, you've got, if you want to count, let's see, well, it didn't get 5.
It got 5 1s and 2s.
It has 5 1s and 2s, yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of this flag person, I don't know what that was flagged for, or
I don't recall.
I mean, so whoever flagged it would have to say, here's why I abstained. It might have been Erica, I don't know.
Well, I think the question came up is missing a grant deadline in emergency. That was one thing that was mentioned.
Right.
The other thing that the charter doesn't mention is who gets to declare the emergency.
Oh, the town manager, I think, declares it.
He declares it. Okay. I'd have to go back and again look at the statute. But,
I think that's in the powers of the town manager in Article 3, but
okay.
if I remember correctly.
So if that's the case, if it's clear that it's the town manager who declares the emergency, then it's a question of putting a framework around, are you going to miss a deadline gonna miss a grant deadline, you're gonna miss a budget deadline.
I mean, this is basically like, can one member, or if you require a second or whatever, can somebody postpone a decision, when there's a deadline coming? And so it could be clarifying the definition of an emergency, or it could be clarifying, when the postponement can't happen.
Mhm.
So it could work from that end as well, right?
Yeah.
So then going down to this line 20, require the council to vote pay increase within 15 months before the next term rather than 18. We're tied 4-4. So presumably that fails.
Mhm.
And it was 4 people sort of lukewarm and 4 people against it. So maybe that tracks okay. Number 28, require the agenda for council meetings to be detailed enough. We only had 1 yes, really, but it's a flag. And I guess the note here is we need further discussion on transparency versus open meeting law.
Yeah, this was because Bernie was pointing out that it was open meeting law, and others are just kind of reflecting the general sentiment that there needed to be more transparency. So I think we just needed to maybe include something that reminds folks of what open meeting law requires and that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, and it might, I mean, even if those 3 abstentions go into the yes column, we're still tied. So it seems like it's, unless the 3s change their vote, it doesn't seem like it's gonna pass.
No.
Right. I think the issue here is when you go to the calendar and look and you see a meeting has been scheduled calendar, and then you go to that committee's webpage and you don't find an agenda, or you find an agenda that's it's just a collection of short sentences. That I think is the issue. And I would agree with that, because I've seen meetings posted, and then I go to the website where the committee is, and there's no real information. But that's not something that rises to the level of council, nor does that get into whether they're detailed and complete enough. I mean, you could go around forever about what constitutes detailed and complete enough.
Right.
I used to.
It's an aspirational sentence. I was like, I think it's a good idea, but so I might be the 2, but yeah. So anyway, that's the kind of thing that we're dealing with, and I don't know. Then you get the line 31, you got the lame duck one, which we need to sort of sort out. 32, lengthen and stagger terms for elected office. There's a flag, there's an asterisk, there's
well, that may require a new charter.
Yeah.
And that's the question that has to be answered.
So the flag on that one, I think, is that's one of the ones where we would need the Collins or the KP Law to tell us how this would happen, and then we would have to specify what exactly are the terms. Either you're going to 3-year terms and you're doing it in the spring, or there's 4-year terms and you're doing it in November. But either way, can we petition the legislature to let us do that, or do you need a charter commission, or what?
Yeah, that's the question. Is it something that we can just do by petition, or is it going to require a charter commission? My understanding, and I could certainly be wrong, is that it requires a new charter commission.
Yeah. So I guess just in terms of what do we bring to the full committee on Thursday? Do we just bring this, or do we try to sort it further?
Can we sort it further?
How would we, what else would we do?
Well, I think we can color some of these flagged ones, right?
Okay. Some of the
To
what?
give us at least a
ones?
starting point. Like, yes, we
Okay.
know it's not going to go in, but we want to talk about it.
Okay,
Or we-
so clarify so we just start at the top then?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
I mean, we've got the preamble, we've got 3 people voting yes. So presumably that's a no.
Yeah, that fails.
Row 7, this is the mandating intergovernmental cooperation. Right now we've got 4 yeses and 4 either no or abstaining. So does that fail? Or is that a discussion about what the abstainers want to do?
I think that one would be a discussion, because people need to get through, and understand what the implications of that are.
Right.
And so, if you want to be a hard ass about it, doesn't have a majority vote, it fails.
Right.
But I think that's something that people need to go back, and the 3 and the 1 folks need to go back and think harder about that and have a further discussion about it, because they may well change their minds.
I'm okay with that. Clarifying the definition of an emergency, we've got 5 people voting yes, we've got 2 people voting no, and 1 flagging. That seems like a yes.
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
yes
Yeah, passes.
with a chat. Yeah.
It's flagged, so it gets a notice that way. Oops, that's a different color. That'll be confusing. Green. Require the council to vote a pay increase. We're tied, so it fails.
Yeah.
And then
I
I
mean,
guess
there
we
was-
could go through this and argue with it if they or say I'd like to bring this one back. But at least this is a starting point. Require this is the detailed agenda one right now. We only have 1 person voting for it. It's flagged. Is it a no?
I would say it's a no.
Mark,
I
it's
agree.
again?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Lame duck period, that's one we have to discuss.
Yeah, sorry. Me too. I agree.
Okay, great. Lengthen and stagger terms for elected office. Right now it's a pass, but it's obviously something we need to flag or that's being flagged.
I think we need to talk to the Collins about it, right? To figure out
Well,
if it's even possible.
If we're saying all the green ones are what we're going to submit to Collins for their commentary and submit to KP Law for their commentary. I mean, that would be one that you'd color green, and they'd come back and say either, yeah, you can do this through legislation, or no, you can't, because you need a new charter commission.
Yeah. Okay. So provisional yes, and as you said, these go to the green ones are the ones we're sending forward, and then they'll get pared down further or reality tested. Term limit for council president. All right, term limits for councilors, we ended up with 5 against, so that one went down. This one is 4 and 4 term limits for council president, so I guess that's a no.
Yeah, well, that's a rules change. I mean, there's a way to do that. The council just changes its rules.
Yeah, but if the town wanted to just say we can't have a town council president who's in there forever, then it could be in the charter. We just don't have the votes for it right now. So.
Okay. Yep, that's true.
Provide that each district council represents 1 voting precinct. That's tied, so that's a lot. That's a no. This is sort of hard, rough justice, but at least it people can always, say I want to change my vote to put this into discussion again or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
Having additional public comments. Right now we've got three in favor and 4 against, so that's a no.
Mhm.
Public comments are summarized and responded to. Again, there's very little support for that actually at this point. This one is passing, right? It's also flagged. But
Let's see, which one is that?
number 46, I'm sorry.
46.
Yeah,
Let me,
Require
that
them to
works.
hold at least.
I have a larger version here that I can.
It's requiring district councilors to hold at least 3 district meetings
Yeah, right.
with
Rather
and at large
than-
councilors to attend at least 1 district meeting in each of the town's 5 districts across their 3-year terms. It's kind of specific, but the point is,
Mhm.
it's tying 2 things together: 3 meetings per year for district councilors and having at large councilors meet also.
Mhm.
And then we have sort of 3 that are similar here. We have that one, and then we have require councilors to meet their constituents at least quarterly, and then we have mandate constituent meetings for at-large councilors. So mandate at-large meetings passed, requiring quarterly meetings tied, so it fails. And this one is currently modestly passing, 5 to 3, I guess. So we'd have to we'd have 2 things on the same topic basically for at-large councilors, but I guess this one also talks about 3 district meetings for. So we'd have to maybe pair those up and decide what we actually want to propose, but they're in the same ballpark. This one's 4 to 4, so it fails. I'm sorry, that's line 49. Line 51, having 1 or more resident representatives on each town council committee. Right now, that's passing.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Applications for memberships on boards. This one it should be public records. This is now currently only 2 votes.
Yeah, it's a
And
big
the 2 flag votes, even if they pass, it would still be tied and would fail. Line 61, the appointment procedure for planning board, ZBA, finance committee resident members is idiotic. That's 8 with 8 flags, but I guess that's a no. I guess that's just along the line of, discuss the process for nominating people, which is discussed elsewhere. Provide the town council with the power to hire its own legal counsel or analyst. Right now, there's 1 and 5 2s, so that's passing. It's also, yeah. So this is yeah. I'm sorry. I read. Okay, so that one is green. All right, so we're going to come in there with, here's our take on, what the voting, where we are in the voting, and we have yeses and nos, and a few things that we need to really discuss. So that's good. Line 75, include provisions to ensure a robust town manager evaluation by the public. Right now, there's only 2 yeses and 2 flags, so it seems like it's failing.
Yeah, I think it was more about yeah.
Oops, what did I just revoted this one, unfortunately. Let's go back. Okay, so this one, there were a couple different ones on the evaluation process, and apparently there's a committee of the council that currently changing the process, and it sounds like we were, in the other evaluation votes, we were inclined to leave it up to them.
Yeah, the GOL committee, I believe, is taking that up.
This one, line 83, this is one we only have 7 votes registered, so we have to figure out what the eighth vote is. So right now we have 4 in favor and 3 against, but
Well, that's also incredibly vague.
yeah,
Yes.
The statute is pretty clear about what the manager can do and what the council can do.
right.
So I don't know what you're.
I think we just need to get clarity on the votes, but hope
That might
it would be difficult to put it forward as language to put in the charter, but
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
probably why I voted it a 3, but 4 people voted it a yes of some sort. And we're missing a vote. So if that person votes it yes, it gets sent to Collins Center, I guess. A decadal review. I don't, we have all 8 of us thought that was a good idea. So I guess that's in. I don't know exactly what it means, whether it's raises the level of a charter, but
Yeah.
we all thought it was good. So this has 6 people
Yeah, this is good.
saying it's good, but it's like, do the town manager and town. So this one we all thought was a good question, or 6 of us thought it was a good question, but I don't know what the language would be. Town manager and staff should pay attention to committee recommendations. But right now it's a yes. Should we leave that for more discussion, or should we say
more discussion? I think because
it's unclear what
yeah,
I'm going to put unclear what language would be.
right.
So I'll just that'll be discussed. Release statistical, okay, demographic information on applicant pool. Right now it's tied, so that's a no. Uh, 98, all applicants should be informed when the candidates have been selected for interviews and when the final choice has been made. That's just final courtesy. Right now we have 4 votes in favor and 3 votes against, but we only have 7 votes. So I think that's one that we should get clarity on, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Right, and again, that's more practice than.
Yeah.
Yep.
It says it's common courtesy. I mean, you don't legislate common courtesy.
Yeah, I mean, you could say in when we talk about multiple member bodies, we could say applicants should be informed when a final choice has been made, but so we're just leaving that because we don't have the votes.
Yeah.
And then this one, 7 votes again. People thought this was a good idea, but it didn't seem to rise to the level of the charter, so it's a no, but we still only have 7 votes, so should we clarify why we only have 7? Community engagement officer to facilitate public involvement. This seems to be a no. I mean, we have nobody voting yes.
Sounds good.
Elected mayor instead of town manager.
That does require a new charter commission.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, we only have 1 person voting yes at this point, so. We have 4 of these that require expert advice, so we didn't. I don't see any votes here. Did we just say we're not going to vote?
Right. I think what we said is we need to have the town attorney or Collins advise on this.
So this has lengthened and staggered terms for elected office, which we also talked about up here. And did we end up with that as?
I think we had that as.
We have that as a green up here, but it's flagged.
We liked
flagged.
it, yeah, and that's the flagging, and it reflected that. We didn't vote on it because it was already touched upon.
Okay, so C32. See line 32 on that one. Okay. And then this housing authority thing, I guess that was also something that we thought was needed expert advice. I mean, I guess,
Well, that was my
Okay.
contribution. It's a different statute altogether.
yeah, okay,
So I don't know if, you know, how that interacts
yeah.
with the charter. So we
So then
need
we have a
to
couple, we have a couple here about providing that the planning board and zoning board of appeal, and in one case, non-voting resident members of the finance committee should be elected. We have 3 people against it and 5 people flagging it. I guess we just leave it white.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess you could, but,
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the 5 flags are, so.
well, I don't know why, I don't know why it's been considered.
I guess we have to revisit. We have to revisit it, and we'll figure it out. But
Yeah, I think again, it's a question of one, whether or not you can do that at all, and
Yeah.
2, can you do that without having a new charter?
yeah, I know that. I think Hadley has a elected planning board, don't they?
Yes.
Because they
but
don't need to do
but
much
they-
planning in Hadley.
But they're a
the Hadley
town,
Plan-
so.
They're a town, that's right.
They're a town. And the Hadley Planning Board is, you never underestimate the Hadley Planning Board.
Yeah.
Those folks are very clever, and they're,
Well, they managed to generate a lot of revenue and preserve a lot of farmland. So
they did.
okay, 117. Clarify what a new appropriation is. That we've got 5 yes votes and 2 no votes, so that's a yes. 119, the FinCom should be a citizen board representing taxpayers. We've got 3 yeses, a 4, but we only have 7 votes. But even if that one votes yes, it's a tie. So it seems like that's a no.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, for the finance committee composed of 5 residents appointed by a nonpartisan body or person.
Who appoints the nonpartisan body?
I don't know, but that's transparency. Again, I think this is a flag just to say we should make sure that we mention transparency, but nobody's voting for it. Concerns about lack of collaboration between the school system and the town. I don't see any yes votes. There's 3 no votes. There's 5
This was
people
just
flagging
flagged to
it.
talk about it. Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Are you thinking this is something we wouldn't put forward, but this is something we wanted to mention as an issue that came up?
Yeah, I mean, because it's not something, yes. More
There's
something.
not a charter.
Right.
There's not charter language here, right?
Right, no.
Okay. So we'll say that's a no. Okay. Article 7, we're getting there. Recall provision. Right now we're tied. Well, potentially tied. There's 3 no's and 1 flag. But so that seems a no at this point. Requiring open seats, we're tied. So that's a no. Hold local elections in even numbered years. We only have 2 in favor, so that's a no. Lengthen and stagger terms for elected offices. This came up twice before.
Mm-hmm.
So see above.
Yep.
And I guess we voted green on that.
Well, we voted, the green on that is basically, you can tell us if we can do this without having a new charter.
Right, okay. So what did we say? See, I think it was like 32 or something.
Yeah, it was 32.
Okay, so see line 32.
And I'm trying to remember what the rules are about open seats.
I mean,
Being filled, there's vague recollection of if there's 6 months or less in the term, you don't fill it.
yeah, I mean, we have elections every 2 years, so I think
Yeah.
it's either it's filled by the body,
Mm-hmm.
Or if there's an election coming up, then you just, in a certain amount of time, you wait.
Right.
And-
And what some charters do is they basically, rather than have the body appoint someone, some charters say the second highest vote getter replaces the person who's left. But
That
again,
assumes that there's more than 2 people running in a district, though.
yeah, right.
Yeah. So, well, right now we got 4-4. So,
Mhm.
unless we want to reopen it,
Mhm.
require the timely posting. Right now, that's a yes. Oh wait, I'm sorry. 144. Provide that in virtual hybrid meetings, residents can see each other, and able to know who and how many are present. That's a tie.
So no.
That's a
It's a
no.
no.
The timely posting and public comment is a yes. Communication is good. Is something flagged? I think that's an issue that we want to. That's just something that it's a theme, I think, but right now it's a tie, so that's a no as far as charter goes.
Mhm.
Line 148.
But 140 is, again, that's, the flag is there because that speaks to the behavior of the councils.
I'm sorry, what?
That speaks to the behavior of the councils, not to the charter. I mean, how do you communicate with your constituents is
Oh yeah,
something that they need to discuss.
146
about
there.
it.
Yeah. So then 148, it looks like it's a tie, so that's a no. Oh, wait, did I just change something? No, we're good. Okay, so 148 is a no. 149 is a tie also, so that's a no. Simultaneous translation has 4 yeses, 3 no's, and 1 abstention. So if that person changed, that could pass. Do we just leave it?
I think so.
That's an issue of technology and
Yeah.
cost.
I mean, I presume that you voted against it for that
Yep.
reason, and I did too. But
Yeah.
right now we don't have a firm vote yet.
And
I mean,
you
we're-
know,
We're kind of expecting the person that didn't vote to step forward, or is we're going to give somebody
think-
an opportunity
well-
to vote twice?
It's an no. I think we're gonna have to trust that I mean, maybe we have to revote those. All of us.
Okay, no, that's a good point.
Contrary to what the statement was made, Westfield does not provide simultaneous translation in Spanish of its.
Is that right?
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
I think there's some confusion there about what they do for folks who are hearing impaired versus differences in language.
okay.
I mean, they do have a very robust procedure for people who are hearing impaired, but that's where it is.
We
Okay.
also have pocket translators. There are some of these things that are coming up that I think folks need more information before you can make a decision.
Yeah. I looked at some of the software that's available and it's all over the place. I mean, I can use my Pixel phone as a translator.
Yeah, but we currently have pocket translators that people can use at meetings.
You do, okay.
Interesting.
I didn't realize that we had pocket translators.
If somebody's on a Zoom, though, they can't use it, right?
No one has asked. These are like things that came up in this situation that nobody has raised in the past because we have things.
Well, it's a technology thing and it's a resources thing, but if it's becoming easier, then maybe.
Well, that also could be.
It's
that also
technology
could
and
be
resources, but also if there was a need that anyone was expressing, then we would meet the need because we have it. But no one is expressing a need to us except in, to the charter review. So it's a little frustrating.
That
Yeah.
might be something that those pocket translators might be something that Westfield is doing, but they don't mention it on the website.
All right. Well, right now we don't have a conclusive vote on that one, so we'll leave it. Allow electronic signatures, that's a no, it looks like, even if all the flags change to a yes, it would be a tie. Similar on both of these. Increased time allowed, it looks like that's a yes.
I think that also would tie in with one of Kathy's suggestions as well.
Yeah. What happened with Kathy's suggestions? It was just decided that that was one person and people didn't want to go into it then, or? I mean, we have plenty of suggestions that came from one person.
Well, I think it was a question of I'm not sure what the chair was thinking about that, but I think that the long and short of it is it deserves a discussion because of the person who's submitting it, and you know, and I agree. I think it deserves a discussion, and I also, in looking at Kathy's suggestions, I think there's some overlap with what's already on our list for one, and for two, a couple of the things she's suggesting is really Finance Committee business. And I don't know that it rises to the level of the charter.
Okay. Well, we can discuss. I guess we can bring it up at this upcoming meeting because they're hanging out there right now, and we haven't done anything with them. So, all right. So this one is 163. Add to measures ineligible for voter veto. Those passed or defeated by supermajority. Right now we have only 3 people saying yes, 3 people saying no. Oh no, and we have and 2 people abstaining and flagging it. So we don't have a definitive vote on that one. Delete exceptions to voter veto provision. I don't think we have a definitive vote on that. And it's flagged. These 3, I mean, the one person or 2 people abstaining could change the vote. So I think we have to leave them as white.
Yeah, I mean, some of the voter veto exceptions, I mean, would run afoul of the law, or would make doing business in Amherst impossible.
Yeah, and you mean changing them?
Just because, you know, you have to pay your bills.
Yeah.
And if
that was the point, was to try to just, you know, keep the government running. So,
well, people also have to take into account the implication of some of this stuff. I mean, you know, the fact that you can take great pride in being a difficult community, but that costs you because people, corporations, governments, charitable organizations, everyone takes a look at that. And makes a decision as to whether or not they want to go in a place where everybody likes to argue. You know.
All right, I'm conscious that Ken is trying to leave our meeting, so I just want to get through this last couple. The 167, once a committee is established, the town council or the town manager must review their work and adopt or reject any recommendations. We're tied on that, so I guess that's a no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think didn't we reject something like that earlier as well? So
yeah. Maybe. Consider other reasons for removal other than attendance or felony conviction. Right now, we have 5 people, you know, somewhat in favor of it and 3 against. So I guess that's a green right now. I'm not sure what those other reasons would be, but we've got a yes, and then we've got a yes on the Article 10 transition provisions. Although I think we've heard, I think from Bernie that the council has addressed all of those, but I think we certainly heard from a number of people that they wanted to, you know, bring those around again. So
well, that was also my suggestion. Is that, you know, they did what they were supposed to in the transition. We can remind them that we got nowhere with much of it.
Yeah. So all right, so we have A largely green and red, except for this other elected offices section. But other than that, it's pretty, it's tough love as far as like, all right, it's a yes or no thing. So, oh, actually, I'm sorry, this line 7. Oh, I guess that's we don't know what the abstentions would do if they wanted to go into the yes column. Okay. So we can present this, and I'm sure we'll hear some thoughts that maybe there's a different way of doing it. But I think at least what are we thinking then? Would it be worth taking all the green ones and putting them in one list and all the red ones in another list and all the white ones in a third list and
Yeah.
grouping them that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that should help our discussion on tomorrow.
Okay.
No, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's on Thursday.
Yeah. So 3 categories. I can do that easily enough. And then we have the other tab is the flagged. These are all the flagged ones.
Let's get a list of those with the respective colors.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because in many cases it may be that we're not that interested in many of them.
No, but we need to do something.
But that lets you know that it's more of a theme rather than a
exactly.
to change the charter. Okay.
Yeah.
The color in the flagged list. Okay. Well, that was pretty good. Feels like we're getting somewhere. Oh, I guess we did lose Ken, but he told us that he was going to have to leave.
Yeah, he has a field hockey game in Greenfield that is. He is in charge.
All you jocks out there.
These people running around with sticks. I mean, I get nervous.
Well, he lets his daughter do it, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. So then, as far as the agenda goes, is there anything else that we talked about discussing? I put discuss formatting results for the initial report. I don't think we're there yet. I think we basically want to get to a point now where we can send a list of things we're interested in to Colin.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we can talk about, when we get that back, we can talk about formatting.
Yeah.
And I assume, Julian had talked about a writing team or a writing committee. So I don't know that needs to be us. I think that might be whatever subset there is. But but again, we had talked about putting it in a chart format like Framingham.
Right.
So
that makes
it may not be that hard.
Yeah. No, I think that's the easiest way forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it then gives the council something to vote on, right? They can vote. We bring in comments 5 through 6, 7, 8, rather than going through the document line by line.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I would suspect there'll be some narrative about communications issues, access to the council, those kinds of things that have come up repeatedly.
Yeah.
That don't lend themselves to a charter change, and that they don't lend themselves to a chart.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, we might have the chart that's articles 1 through 10, and then we might have another chart that has issues that were raised that are important for the council to consider. So, or it could be a narrative, and then we have something on our methodology, and we have the full list of suggestions that will be an appendix that's electronic, probably. But, do we need to schedule a next meeting, or is it sort of we take a break for now and see what the full council does and what comes
out is? Yeah,
I don't know that I think we've processed the feedback. At this point, it's up to the full group, I think, but we can always decide to meet again if there's some reason for it.
Yeah, let's just see what happens on Thursday.
Yeah,
And we don't have Ken here to schedule with anyway, so.
you're right. Ordinarily, I'd say let's pen the meeting down and then cancel it if we don't need it. But I think we moved far enough with this, and we can wait and see what's going on. And everybody's been very collaborative about getting together too. So
Yeah,
we stretched a little bit to make sure we could all talk.
declare victory and move on. All right, then if there's nothing else, let's just be prepared to present this. I'll create the 3 additional colored categories and the flag list colored in, and I'm happy to lead it off. But if that, we can all be presenting on that on Thursday. So I'll send it to the full committee so that and so that Julian will have that for our report out. All right, motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. Thanks,
There you
everybody.
go.
See ya.
Bye.